So for admission orders, still in the same orders, you click on order sets right here. You click adult admission shell and you open the set. And so you just go through this admission set, right? And we already talked about this, so I feel comfortable going a little bit quicker with you guys. So we're gonna update the treatment team. When it means a red and has this marker right here, means that it's not gonna let you sign it because it's not complete. So writing our attending's name. Oh. So usually this should say, this will be a little bit different and it'll be admit to, but this is just a training one, so we'll just forget about that. If you don't fill out the code status, we won't do it for now, but it's gonna ask you right away, full code, do not resuscitate, full treatment, do not resuscitate, do not intubate, comfort measures only. So let's just not fill this out and see what happens. Do you want them on tele? It's going to give you an exclamation point because you always want to tell them why, right? So let's just pretend. So I filled it out, the red went away. How often you want their vital signs. And then if they're heart failure you want to do, or any kidney AKI, or for some reason you want to be really strict about their intake and output and really monitor that. This is what I was talking about when I said activity level. You can do bed rest and advance as tolerated, or you could do progress mobility as tolerated. Consider if they're a fall risk, if they're an aspiration risk, if they are a seizure risk. And then you go through your diet or the NPO. What diet are you going to start for them? It kind of gives you the heart healthy, the diabetic, the hemodialysis, all of that. You pick one of those. Let's just say diet NPO for now. And then this is DVT prophylaxis. So if there's a contraindication to DVT prophylaxis, just say place compression device. And you always want to make sure it's bilateral and at least calf length. And then if you're able to do a DVT prophylaxis, then your options are going to be enoxaparin, which you just click and accept if they don't have, if their kidney function is good, or if their kidney function is bad. See how it's red? That means I didn't fill out one thing. Let's see what it's missing. It always asks you if they've had any spinal procedures, and then the red will go away. And then if they had CKD, I would do heparin. And then those are your basic things. So this we're just gonna ignore for now, pretend you filled it out. But notice how there's like this red mark. If you don't ask about their code status, you won't be able to admit them to the hospital. So then you go through all of this and you sign orders, and that's your basic admission order set. And this is kind of why we went in depth about what you should do for each of these. So one more time, I'll show you guys how to get there. I'm gonna remove all of these. So orders, and you go right here to order sets on your right. And you go admit admission cells, and then it auto populates, and you just go through one by one after you open set. Discharge is pretty similar. Let's see. Discharge is pretty similar. What I do is I open the discharge tab and go through it. So you first start making sure their problems are all up to date. And then you go make sure there's no additional things that are pending. Go and do the med recon. And this, I don't know if it's going to show up here because it's a training one, but this is really easy. So these are their home medications. So sometimes you want it to stop, sometimes you want it to continue. And these are the medications that you started in the hospital, and they're kind of asking you, do you want to discharge them with this? You're never going to discharge anyone with the heparin DVT prophylaxis, or I don't even know. This is probably therapeutic. And then if you want to give them ointment, then you click plus and then it'll start. So it's honestly just going through every single medication. And then we go back to the discharge. Let's see. And then you're going to click, you're going to sign these orders. After that, any additional discharge orders that you want, this is where you put in where their follow-up is going to be with their PCP. You just click this. It'll ask you who they're following up with. So we can just write this department, and then you can enter the information and when their appointment is. It's really nice. And then the hospital service for this, for it to carry over, you always want to type in medicine. And then the other part of this is the senior will write this discharge summary, so that's okay. Just making sure that they have discharge instructions, like I'm going to add nausea and vomiting. And then you can also add your own instruction, like please follow up with you never want to write primary care, PCP, primary care provider, because you're giving this to your patient. Please continue full or all of the antibiotics for 5 more days, right? So any information you want to give to them. And that's really what discharge is. So we're going to remove all of these. Remove. So orders, you go order set, and then we went through the admission orders already, so we know how to get there. I'm just repeating it just so you guys can see it multiple times. So order sets under the orders tab, and then adult admission, and then open it. And then for the discharge, I usually just go to the discharge tab right here and just follow it all the way down and make sure everything's filled out.